Hello and welcome to another episode on Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzie and I'm your host for today's show. Unfortunately, we received some breaking news earlier today that Jurgen Klopp has announced he will be leaving Liverpool Football Club at the end of this season. My initial reaction was complete disbelief, and quite frankly, I was gobsmacked. One of my friends sent me a DM with the post confirming the news, and it had to be a United fan to break that announcement to me. I had to quickly go on Twitter just to check if it was real because nowadays anything can be edited. And the first tweet I saw was actually the short video announcement, which I'll quickly play for you guys.
Well, Jurgen, we're here because you have an important message to deliver to our supporters. Would you like to tell them what that is?
Yeah, I have to. I will leave the club at the end of the season. I can understand that it's a shock for a lot of people in this moment when you hear it the first time, but obviously I can explain it, or at least try to explain it, and I love absolutely everything about this club. I love everything about the city. I love everything about our supporters. I love the team. I love the stuff. I love everything. That I still take this decision probably will, or shows you that I'm convinced it's the one I have to take. It is that I'm, how can I say, that I'm running out of energy. I have no problem now. Obviously, I think I know it already for longer, that I will have to announce that at one point. But I'm absolutely fine now. But I know that I cannot do the job again and again and again and again. And after all the years we had together, and after all the time we spent together, and after all the things we went through together, the respect grew for you, the love grew for you, and the least thing I owe you is the truth. And that's the truth.
I can't lie, watching that video when it was released earlier today, I was devastated. For me, it just didn't make any sense. After watching this video, I thought maybe it was health related, and I hope it's nothing life threatening. But thankfully, that's not the case, as he went into great detail when he did his full interview. Now, I won't play the whole interview as it will take up most of our time, but I will read some quotes or some key details that I noticed that I took from the interview. So it was a 25-minute interview. Klopp had a lot to say. So for me, the key moments of that interview was that he was saying that he was running out of energy. He's unable to do the job again and again, which I kind of understand in terms of his reasoning there. He's been a manager for a very long time, and he's relies solely on energy, and that is how his team are on the pitch. So it makes sense in terms of when he says that. He also confirmed he's healthy, so there's no issues there. So that was a big concern, I think, when that first short video was released earlier today. If he actually told the club in November that this is what he's feeling right now in terms of he wants to depart from the club, as they were discussing plans for next season. But for some reason, he didn't see himself being the manager. I think last season, he also mentioned, was a difficult season. So it was super important for him to bring back the team back on the rails. He doesn't want to leave, but he feels that it's 100% right to do so. It wasn't possible for him to wait until the end of the season to make this announcement. Now, that's been a big talking point among some fans, is that why have you announced it mid-season? Could you not have waited? I think you got to look at the bigger picture. It's not just him departing from the club. You've got to look at the coaches in focus. Not just him, it's Pep Linders, and there's a few other coaches that are departing with him. So it's the whole backroom staff, more or less. And obviously they've got families, they've got, careers to think about. They need to figure out what their next move is, because Klopp is taking a year out. That's what he's confirmed today. So what are they going to do? They're not going to wait a year themselves. Maybe they want to pursue a sort of full-time managerial role rather than being an assistant or a coach. So they have their own aspirations. So timing-wise, he's allowed it to be where the coaches can figure out their next move, but also has helped the club in that regard as well. He is convinced that to make a decision like this, it's better to do it where you're slightly earlier rather than leaving it slightly too late. And I kind of see what he means, because if he had left last season, considering how terrible we were, it would have been the right way of leaving. It would have just seemed like he just gave up and he didn't really want to continue. And I think a lot of fans would have taken it that way, because a lot of fans, not myself included, but I know there was a lot of content creators and a lot of other fans saying that Klopp should be sacked or Klopp out, however you want to phrase it. So I feel like he felt that pressure, and I don't think he wanted to leave the club in a bad state, because we've signed 4 new midfielders. Obviously, our midfield is a new department. We've got a new engine in our team now. So he wanted to make sure that was put in order. Probably looked at other managers or other clubs like Sir Alex Ferguson, who left the club. I think he left the club at a bad state in terms of the actual squad. And yeah, look where they are right now. They're still trying to find their feet. So I think he wanted to leave on good terms, where he can at least start off for the team to have a new set of players, a young, hungry squad as well. So I feel like that was very key in terms of his thinking as he sort of progressed into the season. Yeah, I think in terms of other key moments, he said the announcement shouldn't impact the season. It's up to the players to do well. And a lot of fans have said that the timing was awful, which I understand to an extent. But yeah, there's no perfect timing for this sort of announcement. Let's be brutally honest. So yeah, whichever way you look at it, if you announced it early in the season or towards the end, it would have felt just like the way it is right now. I'm sure a lot of us are devastated about the news. He also mentioned that there's so many games still to play for, so we've got a lot to look forward to. The decision was a difficult one to make, but for him, it was a huge relief. He also says that the club is in good hands. A lot of people are working hard behind the scenes. He also confirmed that ending up as the Liverpool manager was a fairy tale. He also said he's a normal guy when he arrived. He's still a normal guy right now, but he hasn't lived a normal life for a very long time. So for him, he just admitted that he couldn't do the job as he did before. He doesn't consider himself to be the right one. He also said none of us, including the owners, were happy about the decision. The owners tried their best to kind of talk him out of it, but Klopp believes it's the right call. He also wants the fans to respect or accept this decision, as it is a difficult one, but the right one. In terms of this season, for him, he said it's business as usual. He's done this job for 24 years, as I mentioned earlier. So he needs to see what life is outside of football. One thing he didn't know, or he may have underestimated, was the fact that his energy source was not endless, as he's never had that issue before. I feel like that's something you come to realize as you get older. And as soon as he realized it, he felt like it was time to let the people know at the club on his position and where he stands. He describes himself as a pretty good sports car. That was his analogy. He said he can still drive in high speed, but he's the only one that can see that the tank is nearly empty and he needs a break and he needs to refuel. So a lot of questions have been asked, especially in the press conference today, was can he see himself manage again? He says at this stage, the answer is no. He will never, ever manage another English club other than Liverpool, that's for sure. His love and respect for the club is too big. Couldn't even for a second think about managing another English club. And he's decided that he will be taking a 1 year out of the game. He will not manage any club or country for the next 12 months. He also mentioned that it's a strange situation, as he has to explain that he doesn't have energy anymore. But right now he has so much energy. He's buzzing with what's currently happening with the team because of the relationship he has with the fans. Um, and he knew his position. He wasn't going to get sacked by the owners due to the credit in the bank or his status as a legendary manager at the club. He has to make that decision himself and do what he thinks is right for the club and possibly walk away. At the moment, the responsibility he has for the club tells him he's not the right person for the future. He wishes he was the right person. Not only does he feel at home, he's at home and will love and be grateful for the club forever. Uh, he also mentioned in another analogy this wonderful book we wrote together. Since we've been together, he would love to add some more chapters. We've still got a number of competitions to wrap up. So, why not end on a high note with Jurgen Klopp? Try and make it into a successful season and one not to forget as well. And one thing he did illustrate was that there's no issues with the owners. They tried everything to keep him here. And a key detail that I remember watching from the interview was that he said it straight. His management style is based on energy. So if it's not there, he's not the same character and he can't do it without that energy. He said he has to accept it and hope we as the fans can as well. And his message to the fans was, don't make the games about him. All he wants is the full support of the team and not him. He knows the relationship with the fans. He doesn't need any kind of proof of that. He said we will have a moment, probably like last match day or somewhere else. There's enough time to do these sort of things. The outside world want to use this situation or this decision to laugh, or maybe they want to disturb us. But we are Liverpool Football Club. We've gone through harder things, and us fans have certainly gone through harder times before him. And he said, let's make strength of it. That would be really cool. Let's squeeze everything out of this season and have another thing to smile about when we look back in the future. So, a lot of statements said there from that interview. And look, after hearing all of those points, I have to be honest, I totally understand. He's a manager that thrives off energy, and that energy is reflected onto the people he works with, as well as us fans. Because when we're watching games, or even if you're at the stadium, you can't help but feel that energy as well. You can't help but feel passionate when your team scores, or when our team scores, I should say, and you see Klopp thumping his fist in the air. You can't tell me you don't feel it as well, because I certainly feel it when I'm watching games. So that sort of, I'll say, aura that he has was definitely reflected in terms of us fans, in terms of the energy that he brought. It looks like last season, unfortunately, took his toll on him, and he probably realized during the season, as time went on, that it wasn't an easy task to go again in the same manner that he did when he first joined the club. His famous sort of saying to the way he plays football is heavy metal football. It's not for everyone. And the way he manages his team is just like the way his team actually plays on the pitch. So shout out to all the Liverpool content creators today who went live and expressed their views. I was genuinely gobsmacked. I didn't know how to process it. I'm still not quite there yet. It's still a big shock to me. Kind of feel like it's just a bad dream that's happened. I was speaking to my missus earlier on, saying that it felt like a family member has passed away. I know that sounds dramatic, but that's how I feel today. It's that deep. I've taken time to reflect. Don't get me wrong, I'm devastated. I'm heartbroken that he's leaving the club. But at the end of the day, I understand his decision, and I accept. I shouldn't say I accept his decision, because that's what he wanted from the fans. He doesn't really need to explain himself in that manner. But I understand why he's made this decision. Also, just on a side note, I think on a personal level, he also became a grandfather for the first time in the summer. So having no real breaks in the last 24 years, he probably thought this is the right time to take a break from football, spend time, valuable time with his grandchildren and his family, and try and live life without football for now. And look, when you've worked countless amount of time, 24 years back to back. He was at Mainz for 7 years. Then he was at Dortmund for another 7. And with Liverpool, is 8 years. So he broke that 7-year streak that he has with previous clubs just to make sure we were in a good position. I think if we had a good season last year, I actually think he would have departed last summer. But because of the way we ended last season, he was like, I need to make it right. I need to leave this club in a good position. So when I do leave, they're in a good sort of role or good position to mount a challenge and do well for the future. I genuinely feel like that is the way he was thinking. I think he was ready to leave last summer, if I'm being honest. But the love that he has for the club, he just wanted to make sure that, like in his words, back on the rails. And he certainly put us back on the rails in terms of how we are progressing as a team. Klopp has also requested the fans to accept his decision. As I just mentioned, he doesn't need our approval. He's given so much to the club over the years. I know that decision that he's made wasn't an easy one. And I know he's discussed it with his family and stuff. But yeah, I genuinely wish him all the best for the future. And for me, it's been a privilege to have an elite manager manage my beloved team, Liverpool, for 8 years. But look, this is just an announcement today. I'm not going to get all sentimental and say goodbyes and all that sort of thing. We're still in the middle of the season and we have some unfinished business to do. I really hope this decision fires up the squad to do absolutely everything that they can to win all 4 trophies this season and cement his legendary status further at the club. For me, I know my energy level will be different going forward. And I might be sounding a bit down today, but every game for me will feel like a final. And I hope for Klopp, we're able to end the season with trophies in the bag. He also mentioned in the press conference later on today that he's informed the players and they understand the situation. One of the journalists also asks, in terms of the next managerial position, will he have any influence? And he's like, nope, that's not my job to give that kind of input. I don't want to dwell too much on the future and speak about who should be the next Liverpool manager. That's another show for another day. I just want to enjoy my team playing that heavy metal football and being managed by, for me, one of the greatest managers of all time. Trying to end the season on a high. And the road to the quad, for me, begins. We need to get that quad for Klopp. We really, really do. Just going to go through some of the comments here. Jay Kismet says, bless bro, you never walk along. Mad day. Yeah, absolutely mad day today. Yeah, let me know how you guys are feeling. I'm still trying to find it hard to process it. Yeah, it's a crazy day. I've never experienced anything like this in football. It was such a huge surprise. I thought people were trolling me when I got DMs about it. And then when I saw that video, the one I uploaded earlier in the show, I was like, damn, it's not a joke. So yeah, crazy day today. Anfield Uncle Ross says, big up my brother, big up to yourself, Uncle Ross. Thank you for your comment. Daz says, bless up Ozzie, bless up to yourself as well, Daz. As in Jay Kismet says, Klopp looks healthy, but his soul is tired. All the VAR and refs being against us this season could have been the last straw. I mentioned it earlier in the show. I think he was ready to leave last summer. I think he does have that in his mind where when he touches that 7-year mark, he's ready to go. But because of the terrible season that we had, and look, our squad needed serious surgery. And thankfully, the owners backed him and we were able to sign some great players so far. And, look how well they've done for the team. Had he left and we brought in another manager, because it could have been anyone. Obviously, right now the big talk is Xabi Alonso, but Xabi Alonso just started his role at Leverkusen, so he wouldn't have been high on the agenda in terms of acquiring as a new manager for Liverpool. So who else would you have got? There wouldn't have been any options out there, in my opinion, that is worthy to replace Klopp. So I thought the writing was on the wall that he wanted to leave in the summer, but he wanted the team to... He wanted to recreate the team. So he calls it 2.0. Didn't say Klopp 2.0, by the way. Us fans have been saying it. He just said it, Liverpool 2.0. So I feel like that was his mission, to try and get the team up and running again. I think the team, the way they perform, has probably surpassed what he expected. I know he cracked that as a joke today, telling the guys that, you guys performed so well that, it's made it easy for me to just walk out. But yeah, and I have to give him a lot of respect for that. I know a lot of fans will see it the other way. For him to say, do you know what? Let me put things right here. Let me put them in a good position, and then I can leave the club with my head held high, because he wanted to have left last season the way it ended. I don't think no manager would have wanted to have done that unless they got the sack. And when in his interview today, he didn't say in a cocky manner. He just said that, look, I wasn't going to get sacked. He wouldn't have, let's be honest, because he's Jurgen Klopp. He's got enough merit or enough credit in the bank to stay on at the club. And yeah, I don't think sacking Klopp was ever an option, despite what some fans would have said. So no, I think it was always in the pipeline for him to leave at some point. I think maybe he thought, let me have one more extra full season and then review it then. But when he's had discussions with the club, it just didn't feel right for him. When he mentioned that, in the back of my mind, I was thinking, when they were discussing plans for the future, were the talks discouraging for him, where he felt like, actually, they're not even really talking about me as such. They just want to sign this player and that player without really getting my input. So I kind of had that little thought in the back of my head, but I don't think that was the case. I just think the energy levels, he kept referring to the energy levels. When you're, I wouldn't say, I don't think he's demotivated as such, but when you lack that sort of energy, you do kind of have that sort of, your morale's quite low. So when you have that kind of spirit in you where you don't know if you can go full speed again, you do have doubts. So for him, it was just like, look, I want to be the best manager for this team. The fans deserve it. The club is a phenomenal club. But if I can't be 100%, I don't think I should be here. So that is the type of person he is. So yeah, make it what you will. I think some fans will be annoyed that he's leaving, or the way he announced it. I don't buy it. Watch the interview. Then you'll get more of a reference in terms of how he's feeling, a bit more of a better insight in terms of his mind state right now. And I feel like the media can say what they want as well. I know rival fans are jubilant right now. I'm not even joking. They're always quick to say, oh, you guys have only won one Premier League. But why are they so happy that Jurgen Klopp is there? Because they know the way he's panning out this team right now, this team can do a madness in the future. So yeah, they were fearing Liverpool. And even right now, a lot of rival fans are just dismissing this whole quad talk. We're not saying it with chest. Let's keep it 100. Obviously, I'll say it with a bit of tongue in cheek, but we're in all the competitions, so why not? Why can't we go for the quad? And they already dismissed it, saying that, oh, even if you guys win the quad, it's not the official quad because the Europa League isn't the ultimate European competition. But a quad doesn't really classify what competition. It means 4 trophies, right? So right now, when you start a season, you're entered in 4 competitions. Well, if you're playing European football, so we're in those competitions. So that's why we can have that talk. And it's not the first time. 2 years ago, we were in that same boat as well. So no, I think rival fans were fearing us. They're fearing this new version of Klopp. So I feel like that's why it probably hit a lot of us harder today, where we're seeing this progress in this new Klopp team. And we're like, why are you leaving so early right now? But hey, we'll get more insight, I think, as the time goes on. But I'm not upset in terms of Jurgen Klopp, his decision. It's just that I'm thinking ahead, like, who's going to replace him? Because there's no manager worthy or that's like for like in terms of Jurgen Klopp and what he brings to the table. So more concerned about the future. But hey, let's enjoy the present because, like I said, we're in all competitions. We're doing a good season right now. And yeah, let's enjoy Jurgen Klopp for the next 4 to 5 months in the season. And I just got Daz who says, bless up Jay Kismet, mate. And then he says, sound. I hope you're well. It's got a comment here from Madison. So thank you for your comment, Madison. Overall, have you been pretty disappointed with a lot of your fans' reactions? I haven't been on social media too tough, Madison. Because when I saw the news, I had to do a few things, and then I had to watch the interview, take it in, watch the press conference, and then then I had to do a few things in the evening as well. So I've not had a chance to really browse through, but from what I've seen, it's certainly a mixed reaction. You can't please everyone, unfortunately. That's just the reality. I'll have to see what the reaction is, but from what I saw initially, it's definitely a mix. A lot of fans were, supportive in terms of, look, let's do it for Klopp. Let's make sure we win as many trophies as we can for him. Some fans were like, they were just like, timing. Why have you done it now? But like I said, this sort of news, when can you time it? If you'd done it early in the season, would you have respected it? No, because you're like, we just finished the transfer window, and now you're telling us you're going to leave. Like, why did you not just leave in the summer? But like I said, he wanted to leave Liverpool in a good position before he departed. So that's the reason why. And let's say we end up winning these trophies, or let's say we don't win any trophies, and he ends up leaving at the end. That would be a bit of a sour taste, wouldn't it? Because it's like we've not won a trophy, or we haven't been as successful as we were hoping to be. So you're walking out on us. But even if we won the quad, you'll be like, why have you left? We've just won all the trophies. So you can't please everyone. And that is just the way it is. That's the social media age that we live in now. Fans are quick to have an agenda on people very, very quickly. So yeah, from what I saw a lot of positive, but I did see some negative as well. But it's just part and parcel. So I wouldn't say I was disappointed with the reaction. I kind of half expected now. You just can't please everyone, unfortunately. And then Jay Kismet says, drop a link. I'll jump on when it's cool. Yeah, I'll jump a link. Why not? If you're around right now, I'll probably be on for another 5 minutes, and then I'll put it on the live chat. So if anyone wants to come on, I wasn't planning on doing a show today. I wasn't even planning on doing it as a call-in. But if you're watching live, why not? Might as well have it as a as a therapy session, if I'm being brutally honest, guys. So let me just add it here, and then I'll pin it for you guys as well. So yeah, if you can see it, I've pinned it in the live chat. So yeah, please feel free to come on if you want to discuss it, get things off your chest. Because it's 12:30 in the UK right now, but I had to come on and let a few things off my chest as well. So yeah, links there. Feel free to jump on if you would like to come on. And Jake Smith says, overall opposition fans have embarrassed themselves. Yeah, these opposition fans, I could not care less. I can't remember who it was now. I saw one tweet, and it was a United fan, and it was something along the lines where he was like, now you guys know how we felt when Fergie left. I couldn't give a damn how you guys feel. That's just real talk right now. Some fans are like, oh, it's a shame he's leaving. I didn't really like him, but he's going to be a miss for the Premier League. But you're happy that he's leaving because it makes Liverpool weaker at this stage, currently looking at the team. So yeah. Opposition fans, don't listen to them. I got to keep it 100. Don't listen to opposition fans. If they're humble fans and they, really talk with knowledge, then yeah, you can have a conversation and whatnot. But I try to just zone it out. Don't want to hear what people got to say, especially rival fans, especially United fans. Don't want to hear a single thing you've got to say. So yeah, because they're happy. Let's be honest. They're happy. They can cuss Klopp as many times as you want. They are over the moon that he's leaving. So yeah. Jay Kismet says, I talked to George Scott and he says the same when Shankly left. But Paisley carried it on. We need a Paisley now. Yeah, we do. At this stage, I don't know. I can't even think that far ahead. I think just because we're doing so well in the season right now, yeah, I can't think that far ahead, to be honest. Obviously, drop a comment. Let me know what you guys think in terms of who could be sort of the next manager in line. The obvious choice is Xabi Alonso. He had an interview at a press conference at Bayer Leverkusen, and he didn't say no, he didn't say yes either. But obviously, at this stage, he's not going to say anything too directly because I'm sure he's not been contacted. But it's something definitely in the pipeline. Obviously, with Real Madrid, who are very, very close to, well, they've got close ties with him, but they also just extended Ancelotti's contract as well, didn't they? So it would be a great time to acquire Alonso this summer before anyone else gets him. So I don't know. I don't want to think too far ahead, but yeah, it's a disappointing one to say the least. Anish, big up yourself, Anish. He says, "Well, was he just finished crying after watching some of our best wins under Klopp? Oh, I've got to watch that myself. Reckons Zabi's the man to take over. That's the guy that I'm thinking. He's got the pedigree in terms of, because we see a lot of player managers when they manage, doesn't have to be a top level team. When they manage a decent level team, they fold. Maybe because they were such great players, they're not able to, I don't know what's the word. They're not able to connect with their current players who might be below par in terms of the standard that they used to play at. So I know the likes of Roy Keane will struggle. Or they're not really there in terms of tactically as managers. So with Xabi Alonso, I've been very impressed. Obviously, when I said pedigree, in terms of the type of managers that he worked under, so he was, under Rafa Benitez, Jose Mourinho, Ancelotti, Pep Guardiola. These are some elite managers right there. So he's learned from the best, the crop of the best, to be fair. So what he did at Sociedad and then what he's doing at Leverkusen right now is phenomenal. So yeah, you've got to say he's the man to take over. I think if you asked this question last year, people would have said Steven Gerrard. For me, nope. To be fair, he's signed an extension with Etihad anyway. But no, Gerrard for me, as much as I love him as a player, not as a manager. I just don't think he was well equipped for that role. But yeah, it looks like it's Xabi Alonso. If I had to say anyone else, I don't even know, to be brutally honest. Yeah, I can't really think of anyone else that maybe Nagelsmann. He had a bit of, I think he tells his philosophy would suit well with our team. But yeah, he would face huge pressure. I think with Alonso, he'll be able to handle the pressure, in my opinion, based on how he was as a professional. But I feel like because he was a former Red as well, he'll probably get that leeway from the fans. To be fair, as supporters, we're quite understanding, we're quite accommodating in comparison to other managers of rival fans. Man United, Chelsea, those type of teams, they're on your neck as soon as you lose a few results. So no. Yeah, I would say he's the man, Anish. But I don't want to think that far ahead. I don't know. Not. I think things are so unclear. I saw a tweet earlier before I logged on that were linked with I don't know his name. I might even get his name wrong. I think it was Richard Wright. I might just be making up a name. He's the Bournemouth director of football. He's linked with the role to be our director of football next season. So you're gonna see all kinds of names being thrown in the air. I just made up a name. I think his name's Richard something. So yeah, let's see how it goes. And Dad said Ozzie, Trent, Robbo, Dom may feature on Sunday. That'd be a huge lift if they do. Maybe I'm a bit cautious. I wouldn't want to start them against Norwich. I'd rather wait until that Chelsea game. I'd want us to play with full force against Chelsea rather than using our best players in that Norwich game, because I feel like with our squad players and even some of the youngsters, we are more than capable of doing some damage, I think, against Norwich City. So let's see how the team pans out, and let's see who we can. Let's see which team Klopp ends up selecting for that game. And Dad says, Jake Kismet, we should get Frank to call in one night. Yeah, I heard you guys mention Frank's name before. Everyone is more than welcome. So yeah, call. Obviously, today's an impromptu show. It wasn't scheduled, and so I wasn't planning on, tiling anything in terms of labeling as a calling show or anything. So yeah, but yeah, I'll call it all my match reactions. They're all calling shows. So yeah, feel free to let your friends know to come on, especially if they're Reds. More than welcome to come on and have their say. And then Jake Kismet says for sure he's a top guy, Frank. Yeah, bring him on. And then yeah, I can see Jake Kismet in the back, so I will get him on very, very shortly. And then Dallas Alonso and Sven. I think it's just more of a due to his health condition right now. It's just a nice touch to try and get him involved. But yeah, I think Alonso is the one that I think most fans would say, and is probably favourite to take over from Klopp. But until that time comes, we can talk in more detail. I'll bring on Jay Kismet. I can see backstage. Jay Kismet, welcome to the show. How you feeling?
Well, I'm feeling good, bro. Nice to be on. Not a good time, not a happy time, but all in all, good to be on, man.
Appreciate it. Yeah, give me your thoughts on today's news, because for me, it was completely out of the blue. We didn't get any sort of signs that would suggest that Klopp isn't happy or he's lacking that energy. What was your initial thoughts when you saw that news?
That was like remember when Torres left for Chelsea?
Yeah.
That first 5 seconds is the same feeling. I thought it was a joke first. Then I looked. Then I looked up a few pages, and I found out it's for real. And I was like, can't believe it. A few days ago, we were celebrating really well against Fulham and stuff, and today that news came out. I was really surprised.
Yeah, very surprised. Yeah, I thought it was a joke as well. I have one of my friends is a big United fan. DM'd me. I think it's a Fabrizio Romano's tweet, and I was just like, yeah, it must be, because you get so many of those like fake accounts on social. But then when I saw the video, I was just like, oh my god. I feel like the time just stood still. I just couldn't process. I'm thinking there must be something to it, because people would always question Klopp's relationship with the owners, but I don't really think it's based on the owners as such. I genuinely think he just doesn't feel like he's fully capable of showing a good account of himself. So that's why he feels like, look, I'm better off leaving on a high right now rather than, leaving, especially last season where our team was completely in the mud. So if he had left last season, I felt like I don't think we'd be pleased with him at the end. It might have tarnished his legacy a little bit, because we saw what happened with Ferguson when he left United. That was not the greatest of United squads that he left behind, and he left Moyes to do all the dirty work. So yeah, let me know what you think in terms of looking into yeah.
I was just thinking, like, when I was reading his body language, he just looked tired, you know what I'm saying? He looked healthy and stuff, but you could just tell, man, that guy needs a break for a good year, 2 years at least. And for me, it wasn't like I was disappointed in him. I was like, you know what? It's his life.
Agreed.
He's got to make that choice, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to understand the responsibility the guy's got. He's got to take care of everything, you know? And I've always said that since the media world's gone to another level, he's doing, like, back in the day, Shankly and Paisley will come on TV once a week.
Yeah.
This guys on Klopp's on TV every day.
Every day. He really is.
You know?
He mentioned that. Yeah, he said that I'm on 6 days a week. Like, give me a break. He really is. And obviously, with his personality being very sort of direct, comments can be taken out of sort of context, and then it ends up being headlines straight away. So he's one of those managers where he speaks his mind. Some people like it, some people don't. But no, I kind of agree with your point there. I think in terms of body language, yeah, he just looks like he's slightly deflated. Look, even before we even signed him as the manager, he left Dortmund, and I think even then he said, I'm going to take a year out. And then I think he joined us like 2-3 months later. So he hasn't really rested, to be brutally honest. When he was at Mainz, I think he was pretty much in the fold Dortmund straight away. And after Dortmund, he probably took a 2-month gap and he became Liverpool manager. He's been there for 8 years. So it's understandable. And this is what I find disappointing from our fans a little bit, where they kind of forget the human aspect of Jurgen Klopp in terms of his position as a manager. They just look at him as, oh, you're just a football manager. You should just manage the team. Like, why are you leaving? You know, what's wrong with you? But you've got to look at, look, he's done a lot. 24 years in the game. Hasn't really had a break. You know, he's a guy that thrives off energy. That is his persona. So if someone doesn't have that energy, they're not going to be themselves. You're going to question them even further. So what have you made of the fans' reaction? Because I haven't been on social that much today. I kind of avoid it when it kind of this sort of breaking, because I don't like, Twitter can be a bit of a weird place sometimes. What have you made of the reaction from some of our Liverpool fans, not rival fans, I would say?
All in all, I've seen some angry and stuff because he's leaving, not because of Klopp or whatever, but I've seen a lot of dejected fans where they've allowed other fans from other clubs to like rip, like really make fun of them. You get me? So I've seen Man United fans and Arsenal fans smiling like they've won the Champions League 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I've seen it today and I was like, yo, these guys are celebrating hard. I can imagine Pep Guardiola. He's drinking champagne tonight. He's going to stay another 5 years. 100%.
You know what? You might. Yeah. Rival fans can be so shameless.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like, now they're just taking it to another level. I think, you know what it is, when your team's failing, like United and Arsenal, things like this happening to us is their glory, you know. That's their buzz.
That's their highlight of their season, you know, like the draw that we had with United, that 0-0, that felt like a Champions League win for them, you know.
Exactly.
It's
a bit embarrassing, but the way the game's going, you know, when you look at it all in all, that a team big as United and Arsenal have to wait for teams like us to suffer to get any enjoyment out of the game and stuff. And I think that's embarrassing, and I hope that's one thing about FSG they've done right. They haven't spent a lot of money, but when they have, they've done it right. And Arsenal and United haven't done that, and that's why they're not really successful as club.
Yeah, especially United. Their way of spending is just like outrageous. They literally just buy big names. They don't really have a philosophy. They don't really have a sort of like a structure in terms of how they want to recruit. So are they going for young, high potential players? Are they going for experience? It's literally a mixed bag. They just pick and choose what they want to do. So that's a terribly run club. And, you know, FSG will always get that mixed reaction from us Liverpool fans, where some are very FSG out or FSG in. I'm always kind of in the middle. I look at in terms of the way they've done business, I can't fault them in terms of I know there's times where we feel like maybe they should have spent more money at certain times, but you got to do things the right way as well. You know, you've got teams like Everton, Nottingham Forest, Man City as well, but they're not going to get punished in my opinion. But teams that are doing things in an unethical manner, and they're going to face the consequences going forward. So look, in terms of FSG, I think they've done everything they can to support this manager. Some may disagree on that one, but I think the next appointment is going to be very, very important, very key to our success, because I'm looking at the time of when we had Rafa Benitez and when he left. It took us a few years to get back on track. When we unfortunately appointed Roy Hodgson, that was dark times, to say the least. And then obviously Kenny Dalglish brought a bit of light into it, but obviously he wasn't a long-term solution. And then we had Brendan Rodgers, who was a young up-and-coming manager at the time, but I think didn't really have the mettle to be a top manager, in my opinion. So in terms of your viewpoint, I think Alonso's the one that everyone is kind of looking towards as the possible candidate. Who would be your choice if you had to speak at this moment?
I've got three guys I thought, maybe, but I like Ange at Tottenham.
Okay.
I think I'm just a bit surprised that we didn't look at him before he went to Tottenham last year, thinking, yeah, maybe I'm not sure if the owners had a little bit of an inkling that Klopp wants to
Yeah.
leave next
Mm.
season.
Yeah.
Maybe said to Ange, listen, take a year out. We want you lined up next for the Liverpool job. And he is a Liverpool fan. And that's
He
another
is. Yeah.
reason why I would say, you know what, test the waters. Maybe would you take him, for example?
In terms of, I like the way I like his football philosophy in terms of how he manages the team. Because look what he's done in the space of a few months. Like he's transformed that club. They've got an identity on the pitch. United have been searching for that identity for a good 10, 15 years now. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a manager where I feel like he definitely has the right philosophy. For me, it's just untested in terms of the highest level. So, but in terms of profile, I understand your point. I think he could be a good candidate to have. It's just that Tottenham, they're a difficult club to deal with. Daniel Lee will probably ask us for a ridiculous amount in compensation. So it'll be depending on how we're willing to test the boat, I would say. But no, I don't think that's an unfair shot. I think he would be a good candidate. Who are your other candidates? You said you've got three in mind.
Yeah, I got him because what you were saying about personality and stature. I think Thomas Frank's got a good personality.
He does.
He's similar to
Yeah.
Klopp, similar to Ange, and then the other
Yeah.
guy would be Alonso, of course, up and
Yeah.
coming, unbeaten this year. So it's a bit of a no-brainer. I think Alonso's
Yeah.
for me the front runner out of everyone.
Yeah. I totally agree. Thomas Frank's not a bad one, to be fair. I like him as a manager. I like him as his personality. In terms of tactically, I don't know if he'll suit a Liverpool team because his teams are quite defensive style. But then again, if you have a different personality, so if he came in Arsenal, maybe he'd play a certain different way as well because he's got better players.
Yeah,
Not disrespectful
exactly.
to Brentford. So these names aren't bad shouts. I'll be honest with you, Jay Kisman. I think, yeah, I think Alonso is definitely the one. I think he's the favorite because Real Madrid have extended Ancelotti's contract. The pathway is there for us to try and get him on board. I think he'll take the job. I know he was quite coy in terms of responding to the media today. He didn't want to say, I'd jump on. He wouldn't say it out loud anyway. But from what I gathered from the way he was talking and his body language, I think he didn't want to be disrespectful to Bayer Leverkusen. But I got the sense that, look, if Liverpool knocked on the door, I think he'll come and pack his bags to Anfield. So, look, let's see how it goes. Yeah. Let's see
That's
how
the
it
thing
goes.
with them two. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, go
I
for
was
it.
just gonna say, out of them two interviews today, Alonso's and Klopp, you can just like read the body language. Klopp tired looking, even though he looked healthy, and Alonso contemplating something. If you understand what I mean, he's thinking about
Yeah.
something there. He wasn't just chilled. I
Yeah.
realized that.
Yeah, I like Xabi Alonso's personality, his persona. Even when he was our player as well, I just like the way he spoke as well, very sort of articulate. Obviously as a player, he's phenomenal. So I think in terms of his philosophy, I think he's got a good mixture because I watched Bayer Leverkusen and it's a very solid team, but they play good football at the same time. It's kind of like our DNA as well at the same time. So yeah, let's see how it goes. I'll probably do more content as time goes on. But right now, yeah, today is more of a reflective kind of mood. I was scratching my head thinking, why has Klopp done it? Like, why has he made this decision?
What do you think?
But do you know what? I genuinely do believe his words. From what I saw in the interview, I think he was generally he just thought he didn't have it in him, or he didn't have the energy levels to take this team to a new level because the players are doing phenomenal for him right now. But let's just say we have a great season, we end up winning. I want to say the quad, but let's say we win one or two trophies, right? The expectation is going to be even higher next year. So I feel like the way you have to be as a Liverpool manager, you've got, like you mentioned earlier on, actually, when you're a Liverpool manager, it's a different level. You've got weight on your shoulders. You've got such great responsibility. It's going to weigh you down at some stage and form. So That's why Pep Guardiola, he doesn't stay at clubs for a very long time. Man City is actually the longest job he's actually had in his career. So, when he was at Barcelona, he had the best players in the world. But people are like, why did you leave? He said, look, I didn't have the energy to keep going like this. So it does have a big toll on you when you're at the top as well, competing for honors. And look at the way we've been challenging City. Like, no offense to Arsenal, we weren't, challenging City, and then we flopped like the last few months. We were there until the last day of the season, 2-3 seasons in a row, where we missed out on 1 point in one season. Then we got the upper hand in one season, and the following season it's kind of that same sort of format as well. So we've been going toe to toe with City, despite the millions they've spent, across the team. We've done it the right way, but obviously we've fallen short as well. So I feel like the pressure and the toll is taken of managing an elite club like Liverpool Football Club. Yeah, I can understand in terms of why he feels like his energy levels is not there. And look, he's not here to just take a paycheck. He's here because he wants to do well for his team. He's been here for such a long time. He's pretty much an honorary Scouser now. Like, he loves the people of Liverpool. He loves the club. That's why he said outright today he's not going to manage any English team whatsoever. He'd rather starve than manage another English team. And he said that if it was at Liverpool, they'd probably feed him there anyway. So that's the kind of people we have in the Liverpool City there. So no, I genuinely believe his words when he says that he doesn't have the energy. Some fans are looking at it the other way. They're thinking it's got something to do with the owners and whatnot. I don't see it. I don't see it in my opinion. So, do you see it that way? How do you see it?
I see it like when you look at his background. Like, I've been to where he was born and stuff. I used to live there, and there's like in the Black Forest and stuff, and it's like so peaceful. So when you move to a busy, like Liverpool is kind of busy. It's not big, but it's busy, and it's a different sort of energy there compared to where he's from. And over time, I think people like that, they can do it for a while, then they need to change the scene again. And I think I wouldn't say he's run out of energy. I just feel that after last season, with all the negative energy, Klopp out and this and that, and I'm thinking them fans should be ashamed of themselves today. The ones who've been saying, they'd be the ones who are crying today, thinking, who are we going to get now? Well, we'll wish Klopp staying because look, top of the league. And this is the circus we're in now, bro, football in 2024. The same type of people doing that now. So, but I just feel that Klopp, I think he just needs to change the scene for a few years, and he'll be back on the scene. For me, he's got 3 jobs that he can go to. He can do the Germany job, the Real Madrid job, or the Bayern Munich job. Those are 3. So
it'll be interesting where he ends up. I could definitely see him doing the Germany job, but it will depend on his mind frame in terms of, does he want to go manage at an elite top club, or would you just prefer the sort of, because the international role is a bit more relaxed where you're not really doing too much day in day out sort of work, so it might suit him in terms of lifestyle. But it remains to be seen. In terms of the fans that you mentioned about being Klopp out, shame on them. That's all I can say. Shame on them. You got what you wished for, I guess. You wanted Klopp out, but you wanted Klopp out last year when we weren't doing bad. But right now we're doing so great. Let me see if you got that same energy, right? So, they say careful what you wish for. That's exactly what's happening.
The same goes with Darwin. Like the same, like people were moaning about Darwin. For me, Darwin, he's probably my favorite Liverpool player at the moment.
Yeah,
like him and Virgil. But they will moan about Darwin. But when he scores the winner to win us the league, for example, he'd be their favorite player, man.
It's so true. Some fans are very sort of fickle or have very short-term memories.
Exactly.
But with Liverpool fans, whenever we see players giving it their all, whether you're a player or manager, we always show love and support. So that's how it should be. But unfortunately, we're living in this day and age where everything's a given, and fans just expect everything to happen straight away. And if you have one bad game, you're the worst player in the world. When you have one good game, you're the best player in the world. That's how bipolar our fans can be sometimes. It's a weird circus that we're part of, unfortunately. But hey, it's a game we love. But Jake Ismet, thank you so much for coming on the show. Great to speak to you for the first time as well.
So it was
and
a pleasure, bro.
Yeah, and I'm hopefully we'll speak very soon as well.
Exactly, no problem.
Take care. Speak to you soon.
Yeah.
Bye. So that's Jay Kismet there, giving his thoughts on the current situation at Liverpool. And yeah, I echo a lot of the things he said there. In terms of the three candidates he mentioned, they're not wild shots. Big Andy's been doing great for Tottenham. Thomas Frank has done remarkable at Brentford. So, and they're good sort of personalities that can definitely fit the bill as the next Liverpool manager. But I would definitely say Alonso is the one. That's the one that I'm looking at. I think that's the bookie's favorite. I think that's the fans' favorite as well. So yeah, let's see how it goes. We've got a long road before we can kind of talk too much detail, unless we get some sort of official news or confirmation about any approaches and stuff. But at this stage, I'm not too fussed about the next position. I want us to enjoy Klopp until he's here, despite what some fans are saying. For me, he's been one of our best managers. Obviously, I'm not that old where I can talk too much about, Bill Shankly and Bob Paisley. Obviously, they are legendary managers, but so my lifetime, he's definitely been the best manager in general. Liverpool, obviously, best Liverpool, but Sir Alex Ferguson was good. But I just like Klopp's personality. If I was a football player, I'd love to play for a manager like him. You'd give it your all. Yeah, so it's just a shame that unfortunately we've only got a few more months and it'll be the end of the road for Jurgen Klopp as our manager. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Thank you to Jay Kismet, who came up with the comments, but also wanted to speak on the show. So thank you for calling in, and for Uncle Rods, Daz, Madison, and Anish as well. So thank you for tuning in, guys. Yeah, back to our normal schedule. This was an impromptu show, so we'll be back on Sunday with the match reaction of Liverpool versus Norwich City. And the show will be at 10 p.m. UK time. As I mentioned, it's a calling show. So if you'd like to come on and have your say, feel free to hit the link in the description. I'll also pin in the live chat. And yeah, join the stream. Come on, have your say. If you've got questions to ask me, any sort of football related or anything in general, to be fair, or you want to touch on Klopp, because yeah, I feel we'll be talking about this for quite a while. So yeah, feel free to come on, talk about the game, talk about Klopp, and yeah, the floor is yours to speak your mind. So until next time, guys, take care, stay safe, and I hope to see you all very, very soon. Goodbye.